Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
District 1,
Present.
District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Present.
District 4,
Present.
District 5,
Present.
Tershit, District 6,
Present.
District 7, District 7, District 8, District 8, District 9, District 9, District 10,
Present.
District 11,
Present.
District 12, District 12, District 13,
Here.
District 14, Place 15,
I'm here.
and District 8. District 8.
I think she was trying to log on before.
I see her. Yes, I see her.
There you are.
You have quorum.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pacina. Good evening, Commissioners. Today is Thursday, May 9th, 6:10 p.m. Welcome to a specially called hearing of the Dallas City Plan Commission. Today is the second specially called meeting to gather public input on the update to Forward Dallas, and I want to start off by expressing my gratitude for all your active involvement in the process, not just tonight, but also in numerous town halls that have been held throughout the city of Dallas. Your participation is crucial to our work, and we value your input. I encourage you to continue to engage in a constructive and respectful dialogue. I also want to again extend my thanks to the members of the Comprehensive Land Use Committee, or CLUP. It's a group of 15 volunteers. Among them were 3 city plan commissioners, 2 of whom continue to serve on the Dallas City Plan Commission. The update you see today is the result of their hard work. You can find a wealth of information about CLUP and their deliberations on their website, including videos of their meetings. If you're curious about how decisions were made regarding the various aspects of the update to Forward Dallas, I recommend watching these videos. Having attended multiple town halls in the past 2 weeks, I've witnessed passionate discussions and valid concerns about how this plan may impact homes and neighborhoods. Some of these concerns offer valuable insights that could shape the plan further, while others stem from confusion or misinformation. For instance, I recently had a thoughtful discussion with a homeowner who had plans to remodel his home, but has opted to postpone the project after hearing he will be losing his single-family zoning. This is, of course, incorrect. Forward Dallas is not a rezoning document, nor does it recommend such changes. Rezoning requests will still go through the same rigorous process: review by staff, public hearing at the City Plan Commission, and a public hearing and final decision by the Dallas City Council. Regardless of the final draft, Forward Dallas would not change any zoning designations. It will not change my single-family zoning, and it will not change yours. It is important that all members of the public know that all of us around this horseshoe love our neighborhoods just as much as you do. We have no intention of causing any harm to the very communities we all call home. Lastly, I would also like to acknowledge my colleagues on the Dallas City Plan Commission. Despite the intense pressure, you've all demonstrated remarkable calm and professionalism in service to our city. So I want to thank you all. Before we get started, I see that Mr. Vanderberg with the City Attorney's Office is here, and he's asked me to address the body. Good evening, Mr. Vanderberg.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Good evening, sir.
Commissioners. My name is Bert Vandenberg. I am the Chief of the General Counsel Division in the City Attorney's Office. I think lately there's been a little bit of confusion regarding the relationship between a comprehensive plan and zoning. I know that Daniel Moore, the current Assistant City Attorney assigned to the City Plan Commission, gave you guys a talk about it. He, I would say, an excellent legal analysis of it. I watched it, and he covered all the high points and the code sections. And I'm just going to reiterate what Daniel said and maybe add just a little bit to it. Not too many years ago, I was an assistant city attorney assigned to the City Plan Commission, And when you're assigned to the City Plan Commission, every attorney who's been assigned to the City Plan Commission has had to explain the relationship between a comprehensive plan and zoning. It comes up every couple of years in conversation. It's part of your guys' recommendations. You see it, there's usually a paragraph. This goes along with Forward Dallas or it doesn't. Daniel, is here with, he got the big bite of the apple because he has the actual Forward Dallas plan going through, so better him than me. And I know you heard all this from Daniel, what I'm about to say, and I suspect he said it better than I will, but I'm going to try. So the Texas Local Government Code lays out how a comprehensive plan works with zoning. Chapter 211 says that zoning must be done in accordance with the comprehensive plan, but Chapter 213 then goes on to say that cities, municipalities can define the relationship with the comprehensive plan. And they don't just stand alone, they must be read together. We call it harmonizing. And the city of Dallas chose to harmonize it in Chapter 51A. I think it's 51A.108. And in it, what we said was the comprehensive plans that we adopt will be a guide. And in fact, it goes on to use the term merely a guide. And at the end of this, I'm going to read the entire section because you really shouldn't hear it just one little section. But what it says is the comprehensive plans that are adopted at the city of Dallas are guides for zoning. I think there's people who may say that a comprehensive plan is the first thing you see and it sort of is the starting point. I personally think that the current zoning on the ground is the starting place of the decisions that people make. But then the comprehensive plan will give you some guidance or some direction, right? It tells you where you should be going. But in the city of Dallas, that's just one factor. There are other, I would argue, equally important factors. One is in this room, it's you guys, your knowledge of your districts, your experiences. You're appointed because you know what is happening in your districts now. The comprehensive plan was done to sort of address what may happen in the future and to give guidance of what we think should happen. But things change and situations change, and you guys see what happens now. So your experience guides you, and additionally, you have trained planning staff who also give you their guidance through recommendations. And I think it's really important that you have to take all those things together. When I was a CPC attorney, I saw things that may have said that, this complies with Forward Dallas, or this is not exactly Forward Dallas, and some things passed and some things were denied based on what the commissioner saw at the time. The comprehensive plan, Forward Dallas, the 2006 Forward Dallas, does not tie the hands of the body. The comprehensive plan coming forward will not tie the hands of this body or city council. It still relies on your collective wisdom in making these decisions, and ultimately city council, since you make recommendations to city council. The adoption of the comprehensive plan won't mandate future zoning or require rezoning now. It really works with the rest of the code. 51A is a big, big volume, and it all works together. Of note, and this is the one section from the Texas Local Government Code I'm actually going to quote a little bit. 213.005 requires a comprehensive plan to include the following language. A comprehensive plan shall not constitute zoning regulations or establish zoning district boundaries. And when we harmonized 211 and 213 and incorporated it in 51A, the Dallas Development Code, what we said was this. The relation to zoning, this is for comprehensive plans. The relationship between the comprehensive plan and development regulations is that the comprehensive plan serves merely as a guide for rezoning requests rather than as a mandatory restriction on the city's authority to regulate land use. The comprehensive plan shall not constitute zoning regulations or establish zoning district boundaries. The comprehensive plan does not limit the ability of the city to prepare other plans, policies, or strategies as required. So again, I suspect Daniel said it better and a little more legally, but the fact is the comprehensive plan is going to provide guidance on where we think the city should go, where the city council thinks the city should go, and where the residents think it should go. But it does not change the fundamental zoning process in the city, nor will it. And that's all I had to say. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Vandenberg. Before we get started with the briefing, we'll go over the speaker guidelines. Is there anyone here that doesn't speak English? ¿Alguna persona aquí que gustaría hablar en español? ¿Hay alguien que gustaría hablar en español? Tenemos alguien aquí que puede hablar por usted. Okay. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here tonight. Your input is crucial as we strive to create a comprehensive land use plan that reflects the long-term needs and aspirations of our community. I encourage all of us to engage in a respectful and meaningful discussion. Speaker guidelines. Each speaker will have 1 minute to speak. Please begin with your name and address for the record. Ms. Pacino will keep time, and we'll let you know when your time is up. We do have a few registered speakers that I think we'll get a list here soon. I will please ask all our speakers online to please have your camera on and working. As we know, state law requires that we see you in order to hear from you. I will also respectfully ask all our speakers not to refer to any plan commissioner by name and to address your comments to the chair. Again, welcome, and we are ready for a briefing, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for everybody showing up today. So before we get into hearing from you all, I'm going to give a quick overview in terms of what CPC is going to be discussing next week in terms of the potential updates to the plan document based on feedback that we've heard from the community, feedback that we've heard from consulting, feedback that we've heard from this body. So to do that, I'm just going to make sure I'm sharing the screen, give a few moments. All right, perfect. All right, so this is going to be pretty brief briefing. Again, this is just a prelude to what's going to be discussed next week, May 16th. So please, everybody that's here, please attend that as well. Going to give a quick overview of the highlights of those potential edits to the document. CPC is going to make those determinations next week, but I want to give a quick overview in terms of what's going to be discussed next week. So in terms of the different sections of the plan, there's a bunch of different sections, chapters, but I want to talk through the different points that we're going to be looking at as we have our conversation next week. So general edits, that's going to be more grammatical, more construction of the document. That's going to be things we touch on. The introduction, there's a few components in addition to what our attorney just mentioned, clarifying the relationship between zoning and land use. We're going to be adding and touching on that during that section. The place type descriptions and maps, that's a lot of what we've heard from you all in the last few months and years, and some tweaks based on what we've heard. We want to be providing those suggestions to CPC to make a determination which way to go. Our land use themes, the overall structure of what's guiding the document, our implementation plan in terms of how are we going to be moving those moving those land use themes into actuality. We're going to be documenting what those are, the glossary and other appendices that we're going to be packaging together for the document. So that's just a quick overview of the items that we're going to be touching on next week. In addition to that, we're going to be also talking through the schedule for review of the plan document. So as we continue to get your input, get CPC's input, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what's next and the time frame for this project. So again, this is just a little bit more detail in terms of what those items are going to be. I'm going to touch on each of these as we go through this particular briefing. So first, in terms of the general comments that we've heard, like I mentioned, in addition to typos, grammatical corrections, general feedback is going to be updating the plan document with web links, having bookmarks and links in the document just to be able to connect the dots in the plan document. Those are going to be updated in there. And as we go through each of these slides, just to know for those tuning in online, if it's blue, it just indicates that's something that staff's going to address. There's no CPC action required, more just technical updates from staff. As we go into the introduction of the introduction section, we're going to be updating the history section. We're going to be defining and clarifying the term self-determination. We're also going to be clarifying the relationship between zoning, historic districts, conservation districts, PDs, and neighborhood stabilization overlays in the document. So there's been a lot of feedback from the community in terms of how those are relating to Fort Dallas and land use. We want to make sure we're clarifying that and including a lot more references to those items in the plan document. When we get to the place type descriptions, it's going to be probably the meatier part of our conversation and feedback that we're getting from CPC. So one, we're going to be talking about the place type matrix, that graphic that shows what's primary, what's supporting. We're going to be talking at length of the community residential place type, some potential edits and tweaks to that based on feedback. Again, we're going to be clarifying the relationship between historic districts, conservation districts, and the like, also graphically on our place type map. So that'll be discussed and shown. We're going to clarify the relationship of adjacencies, especially in the industrial place types, and how urban design helps to do that. And other behind the scenes work would be updating the graphics and also updating the text and the maps to show all that relationship that we're looking to get some direction on. So before I get to the next section, I want to just give a quick overview of place types, kind of what they are, where they came from, and their purpose in this plan document. So as we talk about place types, these are the general guiding tools that we're using for Dallas to help understand how different parts of the community in the city of Dallas work together. But I want to be clear with place types that it's not a new concept. It's actually building upon the current Fort Dallas that's adopted now. They use the term building blocks. So for those on looking on the screen, on the place types 2.0 that we're working on now, there are a series of different place types, descriptors that elaborate on what different types of places look like in the city. But again, we're building upon a similar concept that's on the ground now. So I want to touch on that existing concept from 2006 and how we're enhancing that with 2.0. So one, the industrial areas. So as we got feedback from the community, one thing that we noticed is that there was a broad swath of kind of industrial designation in the city, and there's only one category. The issue with that was it was by residential neighborhoods, and there was no distinction in terms of scale and that relationship to residential communities. So in terms of one of the updates that Fort Dallas looks to do is to differentiate the scale and the typologies of those industrial place types. So we've gone from one in the current adopted plan to 3 distinct types, and they focus on different ways of either transitioning away from industrial uses, more cleaner uses, or identifying where those heavier uses are going to be. That's kind of one major element. Two, the second biggest piece I believe in this document update is the focus on the residential designation in Fort Dallas 06 versus Fort Dallas 2.0. So in 06, we had one residential classification, we call those building blocks, and that went anywhere from single-family neighborhoods to multifamily. So a lot of the feedback that we received from the community was, can we provide a little bit more nuance, a little bit more distinctions between the rural communities that we have in the city, the single-family neighborhoods that we have in the city, and the more apartment-like complexes that we have in the city. So we've gone from just a one residential neighborhood building block to 3 place types in Fort Dallas: the small-town residential, the community residential, and the city residential. So as we talk about these place types, again, it's not a new concept. It's actually providing a bit more nuance than our currently adopted plan has through their building blocks. And I want to focus a bit more just on the community residential place type and the residential neighborhood building block. So on the left is our draft 2.0 that we're working on now, residential single-family place type. On the right is the currently adopted single-family building block called residential neighborhood. So on the ground right now, when we compare the land uses from the 2.0 versus the version that's adopted now, there are 2 major significant changes I want to highlight. One, within the residential neighborhood building block, there's a multi-family land use, and that is a primary use within that building block. It's important to note that because as we talked with the community about that particular building block, they had issues that there was no transition from a single-family neighborhood, a single-family land use to multifamily apartments. So the feedback that we received was, can you please provide more nuance, more specifics, more transitions from that multifamily apartment complex land use to a single-family land use that we have on the ground. So in doing that, we created 2 additional land uses, the multiplexes, which was more lower scale multifamily, and the apartments, which is more the larger scale multifamily. So that's one major point. Number 2, you notice that their lodging is a supported use now on the ground in a particular adopted plan. So again, the feedback that we've heard from the community, feedback from other initiatives in the city was lodging should not be part of our single family neighborhood. So in comparing what's on the ground now, what's adopted now versus the current draft, it reflects a lot of the feedback that we received, and it actually provides less density in terms of that particular place type versus the existing adopted building block from 2006. One thing to note as well, as we look at the community residential place type, a lot of feedback that we're getting is that, hey, there's no single family only place type that exists in this plan. Can we please include that? So I want to just note in terms of how we read this matrix. So aside from the rural focused residential community, which is the small town residential, community residential is the only place type that shows single family as a primary use. So just to kind of reiterate the fact that the community residential, its intent is to be focused on single family, and it is the only place type that shows single family as a primary use other than the small town residential place type. All right, so that's kind of just a quick overview of the community residential place type. And feel free, CPC members, as I'm going through these, if you have any questions.
Questions, commissioners?
As I go through that.
Good evening, Commissioner Sleeper. Any questions? Our folks online, I can't see you on the screen, so you just feel free to speak up. No questions so far? Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, so another one of the topics that we're going to be looking at is our land use themes. So we have 5 land use themes in the document, and that provides an overview of the priorities the community has provided us to make sure that we're using to guide the document and how it's structured. So 2 concepts, 2 items that we're going to be addressing in the land use themes is TOD. It's focus on typologies, thinking through how can those incorporate housing, are they focused on equity, and how are we showing how different integrations of TOD would look like in different parts of our community. So that's going to be one thing that we're going to be talking through and discussing and sharing with CPC next week is ideas on how to do that and direction on which way to go. And then 2, we're going to be talking about and clarifying the housing theme in terms of some of the issues, the context, having a focus on home ownership and other ways of providing access and choice to housing. So we currently, I think it's not as clear, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from this body in terms of how to make that clear and how to drive home that particular theme and idea from the community that we've heard to as well. I think we have a few more. So our implementation plan, this is going to be that section that basically details how are we going to move from these thematic ideas to reality. So we have a section that's built on just listing implementation steps, which departments, which agencies are going to be moving forward with all of these items, and they're based on the themes of the plan document. So in addition to just identifying, clarifying these themes, we're going to be listing and clarifying each of those action steps based on the last few workshops we've had with CPC. So it's going to be one thing that we talk about and list all of those ideas and topics and which direction to go on that. We also have an additional review body called the Technical Review Committee. That is a team made up of staff, public agencies like DART, the county. They're also reviewing this document in addition to CPC, and they're going to be providing their technical updates to that. So we're going to be sharing that with this committee to just show them the direction to go based on their feedback. And also, too, we're going to be adding thematic metrics, basically guiding direction in terms of where we are now and where do you want to hit, and what do we want to do in terms of these themes to show that we are progressing as a city through the themes that we have laid out in the plan document. So those are the 3 implementation items and sections and pieces that we're going to be talking about next week. A lot of detail that we'll be providing through that discussion. Last 2 things, we're going to be talking through just updating the glossary. We have a few terminology and other items that we want to clarify. So in addition to just providing a glossary in the plan document, we're going to be elaborating a bit more in terms of what low, mid, and high density or high scale buildings look like in the city. And we're going to be using the other documentation from our code and kind of just referencing some suggestions that we heard from this body and clarifying what that is in the glossary. And lastly, our appendix. So for those who've been tracking with us the last few years, we have a lot of different sections of this document that's been developed over time. Our engagement report, our existing conditions report, and other maps that we've provided and developed over the sequence of this plan document development. So we want to put that all together and update some of those sections. One of those updates is going to be including, like I mentioned before, historic districts, conservation districts, NSOs, complete streets, and council district references on our maps. So it's easy to identify other contexts for your communities as we look at the map, as you look at the text, and as you look at the body of the document as a whole. So with that, just want to talk briefly about the next steps. So again, we really appreciate you all being here today.
Mr. Chair?
There are going to be a few.
Mr. Yu?
Commissioner Hampton, we
Sorry.
have questions, please.
Just one, can you go back? You had an asterisk on that last slide. So are the full appendices coming with the next draft?
So yes, after we get direction from you all, yes, we will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner Hampton. Any other questions, commissioners, before we move on? Yes, sir, Mr. Agu.
All right.
Yeah, Commissioner Hall, please.
Your slide that mentioned low, mid, and high, I think that started with our discussion about what was a low rise, a mid rise, and a high rise.
Right.
And now it's gone from stories or levels to densities.
So we'll talk through which direction you want us to go with that. It's going to be proposed as either stories or densities, but we'll talk through how you want us to move forward with that.
And densities must refer to perhaps the number of people living in the structure. Or
So I think, and maybe it's just a typo here, there should be just levels. I think that's just easier in terms of the discussion we had. So we'll just clarify that during our discussions. So it's going to be just levels of the structure based on where it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kingston.
So I'm understanding we're not going to get a complete copy of the document until after you receive feedback from us?
After you tell us which direction to go on the document, then yes.
Questions? Commissioner Forsyth, please.
Is it possible, Lawrence, for you to provide us where in the 06 version, the original Fort Dallas plan, it states that the residential neighborhood building block provides for single-family detached, single-family attached, and apartments?
I can send that, yes, sir, yes.
I would appreciate that because I'm reading in the vision statement of the Fort Dallas 2006 plan, and it states on page 1.27, residential neighborhoods. This building block represents the lifeblood of Dallas, the traditional neighborhood of single-family detached homes. It doesn't say anything about attached homes, doesn't say anything about apartments.
Yes, so as you read further into that section and the other elements section, it details the land uses associated with each of those blocks.
It's nowhere in the vision document.
So just for clarity, for those who don't know the 2006 document, it's broken up into multiple sections. There's a vision section and there's an element section which goes through the different themes of the plan document. So the vision gives an overview of the document and then more details provided in the other sections. But I can forward that to you, sir, after this meeting.
Commissioner Houserat.
So if we're going to describe low, mid, and high densities purely in terms of the stories in a structure, and yet we deal regularly here with FAR, which I think is a more germane measure of density than the stories of the building.
Right. So again, going back to the conversation we had related to that at CPC, I think there was some wanted to go through that direction from the FAR. Some thought that the stories would be the best way to go through that. So our discussions, when we have that next week, will provide us more direction on which way to go.
Questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Forsyth? Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? Any questions from our folks online? Okay, we're set, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for your comments. Please come on down. Please remind you to please begin your comments with your name and address for the record. And we'll end with our folks online. Yes, sir. Please come on down. Good evening. Yes. And you're gonna have to press the little button there. Ms. Pacino's gonna keep time, and all speakers are gonna have 1 minute. Good evening, sir.
Ready?
Yes, sir, we're ready.
Ed Zara, 1003 Valencia, Dallas, District 14. History repeats itself. Back in 2009, I received a brochure from the Dallas Homeowners League. It talked about zoning where residents can live in areas designed and planned for high density instead of in scattered pockets of density that threaten stable neighborhoods. A broad-based advisory committee of Dallas Homeowners League, Old Oak Cliff Conservation League, Preservation Dallas, with the Real Estate Council, met and reached a compromise. The compromise had three key elements that protected Dallas neighborhoods: critical mass provisions to ensure that this type of zoning will be concentrated in areas appropriate for high density, the residential proximity slope, a residential transition district between single-family zoning neighborhoods and the new zoning. Sounded good, but the compromise was not a done deal. City opposed the three crucial protections for neighborhoods. They told City Council that the compromise will kill the usefulness of the new ordinance, when in fact the opposite is true. Only if the compromise plan passed will these new neighborhoods truly be live, work, and play communities.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Next speaker, please. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brian Toney. Here as an organizer with the Dallas Housing Coalition. I also reside at 1500 Pecos Street. I provided you all with our position statement and our list of 219 members. You might be familiar with our coalition, having advocated for $82 million in attainable housing and homeless solution funding. Thank you, voters, for your support. We are now turning our attention to Forward Dallas. This aligns with our mission of protecting and preserving attainable housing for all in Dallas. We need housing available at all different price points, at all different income levels for people at all stages of life. Please take a minute to review our facts and benefits one-pager or visit DallasHousingCoalition.com for more information where it's posted there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Frederick D. Haynes III, Senior Pastor of Friendship West Baptist Church. My address is 3510 Turtle Creek. Dallas cannot move forward as long as we are thinking backward and acting backward. And so we are insisting, and I'm standing in coalition with the Neighborhood Coalition, that we are very specific about the environmental justice goals. We want specifics, and we want input from the community. We do not want the city to continue to make the mistake where our life expectancy is determined not by our genetic code, but by our zip code. We want the community to be heard. We stand with the Neighborhood Coalition. We want the community to be heard. We do not need a proliferation of industrial sites, especially in our communities with single-family homes. We've seen that produce Shingle Mountain. We've seen it recently in the determination for a truck yard to be built across from Carter High School. We are saying environmental justice has to be a thing of the past if Dallas is to move forward.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Marsha Jackson, 4920 Schultz Road, Dallas, Texas. I am here to say that I am for the environmental justice area. You know, we work really, really hard on land use. We're working so hard to avoid industrial in our neighborhood and communities, and this is a chance for Dallas to move forward and avoid some of those EJ issues. I'm also here to stand that we are for housing, affordable housing, but I'm also against those duplexes, triplexes, multiplexes near residents. I think that when we go in and purchase our homes, we purchase our home for single family. And when you start ending up putting multiplexes next to residents, that will start causing problems with parking in area, and that is another hazard. So thank you.
Thank you. Folks, my apologies. It's best if we just continue with the speakers. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. Yes, ma'am. Good
Hi,
evening.
hello, Danielle Ayers, 2522 Fort Worth Avenue, and just going to reiterate what the previous speakers have said, that in the plan, the final plan, we want to see reflected, because currently it speaks to environmental justice goals, but it doesn't point to anything. They're not present, they're absent. So we want to see very clear, concise environmental justice goals that speak to implementation, execution, accountability, and evaluation of those goals. And again, reiterating that not just the zoning, but the land use must include the voices of the people who are impacted and those who are advocates and allies. And we continue to support the environmental justice recommendations that you've already heard before from the Neighborhood Coalition. They've been presented. They've been working with the Forward Dallas Plan since 2019. So these are not new recommendations. We want to reinforce. We want to see those in the final plan. And once again, we want to make sure you have policies that are in the plan that prohibit heavy industrial use and batch plants in residential areas.
Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Carol Bell Walton, 6705 Velasco. My training is in international risk assessment, and in assessing risk, you have to assess your own weaknesses, and Dallas has some deficits. One of our deficits is DART. If you increase density to the point where we increase traffic, we know DART's not going to bail us out. We've got decades of examples of DART not bailing us out. So congestion is a big concern, but my bigger concern is stormwater runoff, because Mike Rawlings sat in that seat and he said that he was tired of people dying in Dallas from drowning from stormwater runoff. In our Monday meeting, the planner, Patrick, said that East Dallas has a deficient stormwater runoff infrastructure. If you bring density in, that creates more non-permeable land and increases stormwater runoff. Without proper management, it creates death. It creates drownings. It sweeps cars off roads. You need to be aware of where we don't have infrastructure. It's going to cost $300 million to fix Mill Creek.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
One
Your time
place.
is up, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Yes, sir.
My name is Matthew Bach. I live at 15746 Coalwood Circle, Dallas, Texas. I'm here tonight to ask you to please pause Forward Dallas. While I understand the importance of providing affordable housing, I believe it's essential to prioritize the concerns of longstanding residents who have contributed to the fabric of Dallas for decades. I've lived in Dallas in the same house, in the same neighborhood for over 30 years. My wife was born in Dallas. It seems counterintuitive that the plan would prioritize the needs of potential future residents, with Dallas being a growing city, albeit over the needs of those residents who have lived here for 20, 30, or 40 years. We love our neighborhood as most of the residents I know. Forward Dallas in its current form, though, without the safeguards for single-family neighborhoods, would frankly change and ideally would compromise the place that we call home. We love our neighborhood. I urge you again, please pause Forward Dallas to allow more community input and rewrite the plan to protect single-family neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. We're going to be here all night. Good evening.
Hexel, Colorado, 1509 Main Street, Dallas, speaking in support of Forward Dallas in regards to the pro-density, missing middle housing aspects. Speaking in terms that people understand, obviously a 2024 Honda Civic is more affordable than a 2024 F-350 Super Duty XL Crew Cab. And if you're hearing that, you say, well, these foolish and misguided young people, obviously a brand new Civic is not affordable. If they're smart, they get an old, pre-owned, 10-year-old Civic, and they're right. But in order to have old, pre-owned stock 10 years ago, that had to have been built new at some point. And it doesn't make sense to have entire swaths of the city be forced to build only the largest, most expensive, most destructive type, and most land-consuming type of vehicles and housing. Doesn't make sense to only have a city that only builds that. We need more density, we need more options, we need more variety. We need a city that accommodates everybody, not just the preferences and stylistic choices of a few.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Rock Barrera, 4024 Boca Bay Drive. There used to be denser housing in the neighborhood I grew up in, but it was demolished, and now a Walmart stands in its place. Single-family homes might be for some people, but not for my partner and I. That is not the house that we dream of. We dream of living in denser, mixed-use housing, living, working, and playing a short walk or bike ride away from where we reside. We need more diverse housing options for the diverse and growing population of Dallas. We need more flexibility in terms of what kind of homes can be built. Single-family zoning was introduced in the early 20th century as a way to keep races and classes of people segregated. And 100 years later, we are still dealing with the consequences. The time for change is right now.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Agueda Chaparro. I live in 4723 Stokes Street in the community of Joppa, or Joppy. I'm here basically to just ask that anything that stands for industrial be removed in our place type in our communities that are mainly Black and brown or minority communities. We're sick and tired of having to breathe all this smoke, asphalt that is just being dumped in our communities. And we would like to, for something more beneficial for our communities to be built in its place. And basically, we don't want no more junkyards or plants and heavy trucking. Our communities are just basically just being tucked away, hidden from the Dallas, from our views. And our communities are beautiful. The people make it beautiful. So we want to reflect that in our communities as well. And pretty much just, we want to change the place types in our communities and remove all these plants and ugly businesses that are around there.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Emmanuel Davis, 4751 Nome Street. Greetings. Count it a privilege to be before you, but Forward Dallas to the Joppy Freedman community is more than just a plan, a committee, but it is the vehicle that we have come to the point that we only have to be able to rid our community and the West Dallas community of environmental injustice. It's our last step. It's our last hope before desperation. We are able to be at the table due to Forward Dallas. We're able to not only be at the table, but be able to see results. Every time we have a different meeting, they have taken our suggestions and we see it on paper. It is the very thing that we have left before our move to desperation to be able to rid our community with something that was plagued, dropped down on us over decades ago. These toxic fuming companies have been in our communities not by chance, not by happenstance, but on purpose. Forward Dallas purposely help us remove them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Alex Murchison. I live at 839 South Latimer Expressway. I am here tonight to support the current version of Forward Dallas, allowing a variety of home types in the community residential place type. I am a local high school teacher battling these out-of-control housing prices. This version of the plan will allow more options for me to be able to buy or rent so that me and my future family I would like to raise in Dallas will be able to have a home for the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
JP 5749 Gaston. I'm here today to address a critical issue that directly impacts the future of one of Dallas' most beautiful, vibrant, and historical communities, the zoning designation for neighborhood of Joppy in the Forward Dallas plan. Forward Dallas is not just a plan, it's a vision for the future of our city, a roadmap to guide growth and development while ensuring equity and opportunity for all residents. However, the current zoning designation for Joppy does not align with community's goals and aspirations. The proposed adjustment of community mixed use for the commercial corridor on the west side of Joppy is a step in the right direction. However, it falls short of meeting the community's needs. To truly reflect the vision and priority of Joppy residents, this designation must extend all the way to I-45. The industrial flex place type currently allocated for parts of the east and west side of the South Central Expressway does not serve the best interests of Joppy residents. It perpetuates the adverse effects of industrial pollution and trucking activities, undermining the health and well-being of residents. By transitioning to community mixed use between 310 and I-45, we can mitigate these impacts and create a healthier
community. Thank you very
community.
much for joining us. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Samuel Mortimer. I live at 1623 Main Street. I'm 36 years old. I moved here in 2013. I came for a long weekend. I loved the people, the place, and the opportunity I saw before me. 11 years later, I ended up never leaving. I'm a small business owner. I'm an architect. I'm in development code every single day. Professionally, I'm working on 14 projects outside of the city of Dallas and one in the city of Dallas. Why do you think that is? Personally, the opportunity that I once saw in the city, despite being heavily involved in a number of civic and community organizations, is beginning to dry up. I can't afford to live in this city. My buying power is less than when I first moved here. When I look around this room, I would be remiss to say that I don't see young people like me advocating for neighborhoods that they are already in, because we're not in these neighborhoods. We're being forced to find other opportunities, and I think the statistics say people like me are going elsewhere. Dallas is shrinking. I support more density and hope you will too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Mestas, 3215 Rudd Street, West Dallas, Texas. Looking at the presentation, areas of concern for me, and I oppose this Forward Dallas plan as it is because of the land use and also the NSO that I saw in the presentation, where we're guaranteed some protections in our neighborhoods, and yet we got to come back and then fight or get amendments to those exact protections. The NSO was done away with, was overlooked, just, was like it never existed, and that was there specifically for that neighborhood. This plan doesn't guarantee anything for our community. The environmental injustice or racism that's in our area, the land use. What's going to happen when those buildings are removed? Is it just going to sit there? Because it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars to remediate that area, which is still contaminated. I was here not long ago, and they couldn't even build a doggy park down in the Trinity River in that little area off of Sylvan because of the contamination. So those are
Thank
the
you, sir.
areas of concern for me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is Debbie Solis. I live in West Dallas, 2322 Kennesaw. Been there all my 63 and a half years of life. I come here because we need better planning. I need to make sure that when this plan comes forward, my community can stay where it's at. I need to make sure there's restrictions in this land, and especially West Dallas. I need to make sure that another company cannot just show up and then come and ask for permits. You know, we've been fighting cement plants, and we should not be fighting cement plants all the time. I think another thing that we need to do is we need to make sure in the plan that it's not only that, but the sizes of the home. We are being gentrified across the street from my house to just put this, I think, 3-story home. We need that in in everything that we're talking about today. And just like I was hearing people say they can't afford it, we cannot even afford to stay there. Every time there's a new home built and it just went up for $789,000 across the street from my home, what is that going to happen to me? My taxes are going up. So we need to make sure we change the
Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
The plans. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Tom Dupre. I live at 5132 Bell Reef Drive, happily for the last 33 years. We've just heard from Mr. Agu, I think that was his name, that while this is not a zoning document, it is a guide for zoning requests. Of the 7 meetings that I've been to regarding Forward Dallas, there has been one common thread, and that is a strong desire to ensure the integrity of single-family neighborhoods. Multifamily dwellings, child care, senior care homes, ADUs, or ancillary structures should not be permitted in single-family neighborhoods without SUP. Nothing in Forward Dallas addresses this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Carrie Weinberg. I live in Mount Auburn at 422 South Glasgow Drive, and I'm asking that you pause the Forward Dallas plan. My neighborhood is, I've seen a lot of duplexes go up. I live in a single-family house built in 1923, and seeing lots of multifamily housing go up along my block, I've seen the character of the neighborhood change. People don't sit on their porches as much. There's less of a community spirit, and I miss that as people kind of disappear behind these large rectangular houses. Other issues, traffic congestion has become especially bad on my street, and the number one issue that I am concerned about is stormwater runoff. My 400 block of South Glasgow floods pretty much every time there's an intense rainstorm. It's gotten into our cars. It's become an annual to semi-annual thing that it's come close to getting into houses, and more construction with increased density is going to do nothing but create more water problems and cleanup issues for my neighbors and I. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Next speaker, please. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Paul Cardin. I reside at 2007 Harlandale Avenue. I'm here to express my support for keeping the supporting uses in the community place type residential. The supporting uses, though not the primary use by any sense, are really important for our older and transit-oriented neighborhoods. And for us, the inflexibility that some are proposing for the community residential place type of just pure single family, while that may work for some neighborhoods and maybe your neighborhood, it does not work for all neighborhoods. In my own example, my own home, my own street, I've seen a quadplex get converted to a single family house. I've seen a man who once lived in another single family house now lives in a van across the street because he was displaced. And all right now I see from this community, the proposals to make it purely single family detached is displacement by right and collaboration by exception. So I ask that you at least keep the supporting uses within community residential. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good evening.
My name's Ken Dublé. I live in 1529 Hickory Street, rather close by. I walked here. At least I walked part of the way and took a scooter. I support the Forward Dallas. Specifically, I support allowing flexibility in construction on vacant lots. We have a lot of vacant lots in our neighborhood, and I'd like to see more development going on there in terms of multifamily housing if possible. I'd also like to see elimination of all minimum parking regulations, because I feel like our city is in a death spiral following what happened with many of the cities in the upper Midwest of too few people supporting too many miles of infrastructure. So I do support density. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mitchell. I live at 1900 Pacific Avenue, but I've lived in Dallas, Fort Worth area for over 2 decades, and I have 4 generations of my family that have lived in Dallas or in Texas at large. I am here to speak out in favor of Forward Dallas. My family was priced out of the Dallas zip code a generation ago. They had to move up to McKinney, where all the houses are being built. If you come down here these days, all you are finding are people that have lived in these same houses that are able to afford the same mortgage. Even the last couple decades, mortgage affordability has gone out of the roof. It went from $70,000 pre-COVID to it's $126,000 now. People of my age bracket, people of my demographic, we are not able to afford anything in Dallas County. I love Dallas. I would like to buy a home in Dallas. I'm not able to buy a home in Dallas. If I or my friends, we get out of college, we come down, get an apartment, we spend a couple years in Dallas, and then we go out to Collin County and Tarrant County because we can't afford anything.
Thank you
here.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Roseanne Mills. I am a native Dallasite. I am a member of the Congress for New Urbanism, and as the member of a town council of a new urbanism community in Florida, I have led a team of architects and other urban planners in revising the town code, the architectural code, and the urban code. And I come to you tonight to request refinements to this category, which is multiplex. As you all have been in a number of community meetings, you've noticed, surely, that there is substantial upset and agitation, justly so, with respect to the category of multiplex being put without distinction in the place type of residential. And so I ask for certain refinements with respect to the glossary. First of all, it ought to be not 9, but 8. 9 is 3 times 3. And I respectfully request the chair for additional time to complete my technical remarks
My
or the
apologies.
opportunity to return to
State
the
law
queue.
does not allow us to give more time, ma'am. Everyone has to have the exact amount of time.
All right, then.
My
Is it
my apologies.
possible to return to the queue?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. Then I will take my, is it possible for the chair to entertain a vote? Is it possible for the chair to entertain a vote for extension of time?
It doesn't work that way, ma'am, no. Our rules do not allow that.
All right,
But
then.
I think I met you a couple of nights ago, and I think I gave you my card, and please email me the information. I'm also happy to meet with you, and I will forward your email to the full body.
All right, then.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Dolores Levy Soroka, 4822 Swiss Avenue. Forward Dallas states, develop an integrated housing infill policy that provides an expedited rezoning and permitting process. It may not change the zoning process, but it certainly could change the zoning outcome. A recent D Magazine article titled, "You Need More Neighbors," implies we are stoking anxiety over a possible change in zoning. It also states Forward Dallas will guide future zoning decisions and that we like to scare homeowners with pictures of ugly apartments. The article uses examples from Kings Highway in Oak Cliff, trying to prove that multifamily need not be a nasty word. The reality is all 4 of the properties pictured were built in the 1920s, and I'll bet money all were built as single-family homes, disingenuous at best. There is nothing in Forward Dallas that addresses maintaining existing single-family homes or preventing displacement of existing residents. Forward Dallas does not attempt to identify, preserve, and/or renovate existing homes, to keep them affordable and help people stay in or buy into these homes. Where
Thank
are
you
the
so much,
programs
ma'am.
mentioned
Thank
to
you for
help
joining us.
homeowners fix up their property?
Thank you very much.
Please take time
Appreciate
to
it. Thank
fix
you very
Forward
much.
Dallas.
Thank you.
Y'all would like to see the pictures.
Good evening.
Hi.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, just know that if you hand that to us, we have to keep it for the record. You okay with that? Okay, thank you so much. Good evening.
Hi. Patricia Simon, Peaks Edition, 4519 Gaston Avenue. While Forward Dallas may fit the academic criteria for providing diversity in a thoughtful way, or as the city staff would like to call it, gentle density, the reality is that academia doesn't always translate to real life. What we're seeing in real life in our East Dallas neighborhoods is an encroachment by large multifamily townhomes, which are driving up the land prices. This is what's driving expensive building in this area. We are not building affordable housing because the developers are lining their pockets. By creating density, we're only putting the camel's nose under the tent in our single-family neighborhoods in order to give them the opportunity to wait for the shoe to drop and build multifamily on these lots. Our taxes are going up as a result of this, making it unaffordable for even those of us who have lived in these neighborhoods for a decade to afford them. I want to address as well the young people. I hate to say that because I feel young, but looking at them, I'm no longer. We understand the cry for density and for affordable housing. We aren't able to afford our houses much longer either with the increase in taxes. But those of us in single-family neighborhoods, especially in Old East Dallas, we have fought for that single-family zoning. By changing this with Forward Dallas and allowing multifamily within the
Thank you so much,
single-family
ma'am.
lots,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Jack Cox, 7658 Old Pensador Drive in Dallas. Members of the Planning and Urban Design continue to promote Forward Dallas as a panacea for affordability. They and others, including some of the speakers here tonight, will continue to echo the false narrative that this plan will result in more affordable housing. Recent increases in land and housing prices in Dallas are consistent with what is expected of a high-demand, high-growth city based on well-known dynamics of urban land markets. They are the outcomes of market processes, not a distortion of them. Changes to land use and zoning that could result from the implementation of Forward Dallas would likely only enhance the effects of these market processes, not mitigate them. If Forward Dallas is adopted by the City Council with the current place type of community residential intact and land uses such as triplex, fourplex, and multifamily with fewer than 10 dwelling units attached, single-family neighborhoods are at risk of change that will forever
Thank you for
alter the
joining us, sir.
composition of our communities.
Thank you very much.
It's time for
Next
the City
speaker,
Plan
please.
Commission to
Thank you
push
very much,
back
sir.
on
Appreciate
Forward
you.
Dallas
Thank you so
now.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Gregory Demas, District 3, I live at 5211 Dazzle. This is the south side of 30, where we are in equity is something that we've been fighting for quite some time on the south side of Dallas. One thing about this plan, I wish the young people here, that I still consider myself young, where is affordable at even in this plan? I don't see nothing affordable about it, though. That's going to make it affordable. I think the plan really benefits, like you said, the industrial people or the developers that's trying to make the money out of it. Right now, just this past weekend in my house, not on my street, the street behind me, I had to go knock on the door because the fire truck couldn't get down the street, took the paramedics to get to a resident in my area. I'm the president of the Twin Oaks Neighborhood Association over there in Oak Cliff. And there's already too many cars on the street. So if you allow ADUs and stuff to be built in the backyards or triplexes and multiplexes in these backyards of the properties, now you're finna triple the amount of cars that's on the street. I just left Saturday and we were talking to sanitation at another meeting. They can't get to the trash cans because there's too many cars on the street. We're about 2 years, I said 3 years, you're gonna have to Uber to a parking lot because you can't even get to your house on the street. Somewhere you got to look at the whole scenario for what we're looking at in the city of Dallas as we grow and stuff like this. We don't have the infrastructure to even add that into the backyards and to the side of these houses. The multiplexes that I see built right now over on Pennsylvania in District 7, you got them taking already single lots and build houses that's 50 feet tall and stuff in there. It's just a small box, though. It's not even a yard for a child to go play in the backyard, because it's all the way to the back fence, though. This plan doesn't benefit us, it benefits
Thank
the
you,
rich
sir.
people.
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Joanne Lee, and I live at 716 Elsbeth Street, Dallas, Texas, 75208. That's Oak Cliff neighborhood. And I would like to object to the Forward Dallas plan for 2024 that will change so many residential zoning properties in our neighborhood and other neighborhood mixed use or flex commercial, to neighborhood mixed use or flex commercial. We want them to stay residential. The person that bought the residential property behind our house and raised it wants to change it so he can put in a boutique hotel. He has also bought some other properties in my direct neighborhood for development. We want the rest of our neighborhood to stay residential. Our family has lived on our property since the 50s. I understand that one of the city planners who wants to change the residential zoning to multi-use is the man that bought the property behind us, beside my neighbor, and already bought property along Zhang and put in apartments. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Oak Cliff does not need any more apartments. We already have had a change from residential to put in the restaurant, Mayor's House, that doesn't have enough parking for their patrons, and
Thank
they
you for
park in
joining
front
us,
of our
ma'am.
house.
Thank you so much.
We want to push back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Tim Lee. I live on Elsbeth Street in Dallas. I've lived there, or my mom has, for over 60 years. It was a neighborhood. It was a nice neighborhood. Now they're building multi-family units all over the place. And it really discourages me to be a Dallasite and see how Oak Cliff is being changed for the money. And I see apartment complexes going up that take up entire blocks of Oak Cliff, and that is a shame, a crying shame. I'd like to see more family-oriented neighborhoods, and that's really all I have to say.
Thank you for joining us. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Rudy Karimi, 6214 Goliad, one of the proudest Council District 14 residents you'll ever meet, and much to my chagrin, I'm still a millennial. Last year, I made a lot of people angry. As a park board member for my council district, I tried to use my power to propose a skate park in one of our neighborhoods in the bond election, and boy, oh boy, did that make a lot of people angry. Not as many people that are angry here, but still. But what worked about that skate park, or lack thereof, was that people were heard, their concerns were noted, and the plan changed. There's no skate park anymore. I know what you're thinking. Our future land use plan is a little more important than your skate park, sure, whatever. But underlying process should be the same. Give the power to the people. They are telling you what they want. It doesn't look like you're listening. If you are listening, then you're ineffective at driving any change, because everyone is wanting one thing: protections for our single-family neighborhoods. I'm going to tell you two ways to do it. Number one, add single-family residential as its own place type, separate color in the matrix, brush it in across all residential neighborhoods in your map without multiplexes. Number two, give registered neighborhood associations the right to opt out of the land use plan, and do it in the name of, wait for it, neighborhood self-determination, not at the zoning level because it's too late. I'm talking about at the Forward Dallas Comprehensive Land Agreement, not for CDs, HDs, HOAs, but for all neighborhoods.
Thank you,
Full
sir.
stop. Give power to the people.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
I'm not going to get those claps.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Champion. I live at 1842 McBroom Street in West Dallas. I'm here in support of Forward Dallas because it is a necessary first step. We need more housing and we need more density to accommodate our growing city. That much is clear. But density alone will not save us, and density alone cannot guarantee affordability. A lot of folks across the city are scared about what increased density might do to their neighborhoods, about how it might change their neighborhood's character, about how it might raise their property valuations and their taxes to the point where they can no longer afford to live where they live. Indeed, I live in West Dallas, and you cannot tell someone from West Dallas that density and missing middle housing is the answer, because the very first homes in West Dallas to sell for over $500,000 were attached townhomes. So you already heard from some of my neighbors tonight who oppose Forward Dallas because they know that more density in our neighborhoods means more luxury, unattainable, and unaffordable housing. But when you get down to the root of the issue, it is not density they oppose, it is the price point. So I say again, density alone will not save us. Forward Dallas is a necessary first step, but it must be coupled with housing policy. Density should never be allowed by right, but it can and should be tied to deed-restricted affordability, ensuring that new units are sold or rented to low or moderate income families. I got a lot more to say, but I will send it.
Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Bob Jones, 1234 San Rafael over by the White Rock Lake. And I've lived in Dallas about 70 years, and I hope to keep living here. I just want to emphasize 2 points that I've heard at the community meetings. One is that if we're wanting to achieve more density, we should focus around the DART stations so that where it makes sense to use DART. And then the second thing I'd like to point out is that that I've heard at community meetings is that the neighborhoods, if they're going to be forced to have or be open to these multi-unit residential things, the neighborhood should be able to decide what's acceptable in their neighborhood. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Hello, hello. Hi, Jose Perez, 2807 Throckmorton. Been a homeowner there for about 7 years now. First time speaker at one of these type of things. Just wanted to say that there's a lot of people who've come up and said Dallas is a great place to live. Wholeheartedly agree. Frankly, I think it's a shame that we're not doing more to have more Dallasites in our great city. People have talked about affordability, it's supply and demand, right? I mean, yes, they're expensive, but there's demand for it, right? So that kind of speaks for itself. People have talked about taxes and stormwater and how we're going to pay for all this. Well, we just passed a very big bond that's going to get paid somehow. So the larger tax base gives us all less tax burden at some point, or the future generations that tax burden. So if Forward Dallas is the least that we can do, we'll take it for now.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathy Lauer. I live in 2647 Gladiolus Lane, Dallas. I've lived here for 35 years. 2 nights ago, I went to a community meeting and Andrea Giles gave a very complete and very comprehensive presentation about Forward Dallas. We were allowed to ask questions. My question was, I don't get it. How does middle and mixed use and density, how does it improve affordability in the city of Dallas? And she very honestly said, it doesn't. It will not improve affordability or make housing more affordable for anybody in the city of Dallas. It will make a lot of money for someone, but it won't be us. It won't be us homeowners, and it won't be any of you, and it won't be this. It'll be developers and investors. So all the young people that are here saying, I can't afford to live in Dallas, this isn't going to help you afford to live in Dallas. That's not what this is about. And like I said, Andrea very honestly said, that's not what Forward Dallas is about. So where density is occurring in North Oak Cliff, it's pretty ugly.
Thank you, ma'am.
So
thank you for coming. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Anja Sanders, 3432 Spruce Valley Lane. The city of Dallas preaches but does not practice equity, as evinced by the generations of destructive zoning and disinvestment in 54% of the landmass of this city, all of the communities south of Interstate 30, primarily communities of color. This area has been subject to environmental injustice, and while Forward Dallas does make inroads into improving environmental justice, I decry the elimination of economic opportunity that comes with home ownership. That is its own form of environmental racism. You can never rent your way out of poverty. In Oak Cliff, where I live, we need, we want, we deserve, and we can afford single-family homes. We don't need more apartments. Please remove multifamily from single-family zoning.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, sir. Next speaker, please. Good evening.
Hey, Jonathan Dillahunty, 11344 Lanewood Circle, District 9. I'm speaking in support of Forward Dallas as someone who was born and raised in East Dallas and who now owns a home with my wife and daughter in a single-family neighborhood in the same area. I believe I have a unique perspective on this topic. Housing affordability is at a crisis point in the city. We desperately need to add density, and allowing missing middle housing to be more easily built is a wonderful start in addressing this issue. From ADUs to multifamily homes with 2 to 9 units, I would love to see any and all of this in my neighborhood, particularly if we develop policies that allow smaller local developers to have a bigger slice of the pie, as this will allow more incremental and neighborhood-conscious development to take place. My wife and I have developed deep friendships with a number of our neighbors who now babysit our daughter, grab packages from our porch, and have a weekly TV night watching together. We do not desire an exclusive neighborhood that prices out those who weren't lucky enough to get in time. We bought in 2019, and despite significant career advances, would not be able to afford our own home now. We would be priced out of our own neighborhood.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Tam Pham, 5532 Tremont, and I'm here to ask CPC to put a pause on this decision to move forward with the plan as it is. I'm short. Okay, I'm a design builder as well as an investor, but I actually choose to do development through preservation. And we drive around a lot, and I see lots of land available. Actually, some of them in closer proximity than some of these targeted areas that you were looking to put density in. And currently, they're not in desirable neighborhoods, but that doesn't mean that it can't be desirable. And the investment has to be put in there. The reality is that the Cedars was not desirable years ago before the DPD headquarters were put in and where Matthews Southwest put their investment into the Montgomery, the lofts. So I do want to say that I feel like there is land out there. I think development can happen. There just needs to be a real concerted effort to listen to the neighborhoods as well, because this is a lot of fight for not a whole lot of, I don't think a lot of net result that's going to be positive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Yes, sir.
My name is Renee Schmidt, 715 Parkmont in Dallas. Thank you so much for delaying the vote and allowing more public input. We've got to get this right. Preliminary research from Minneapolis, which eliminated single family, showed that rents actually went up in underserved communities because that's where the developers went, because land was cheaper and more attractive for them. Another study suggests that there is evidence that increasing the rate of supply in housing does not lower housing prices and rents. That was in 2023. Another study showed that higher rates of new housing supply are robustly related to higher prices. That was in 2022. And finally, another study recently showed that adding density can exacerbate income inequalities. Years ago, Junius Heights and the old Dallas Land and Loan were basically the same. We were inner city neighborhoods that were needed revival. Junius Heights, when historical old Dallas Land and Loan became the Bishop Arts District. They tore down all the affordable housing that exists, or tearing it down.
Thank you for joining us,
sure.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. Good evening.
Chair Sadid, Commissioners, thank you very much. Who's driving this bus? I've attended numerous Forward Dallas listening sessions hosted by the Department of Planning and Urban Design. Many attendees in North Dallas and South Dallas had negative comments regarding the exclusion of existing single-family housing, one lot, one home in Forward Dallas, and heard little or no citizen support for the housing described in Forward Dallas as community housing, one lot, multiple buildings, and multiple units across Dallas. In light of these comments, however, staff continues to be focused on community housing and only ignoring citizens' comments. So who is driving this bus? It should be the citizens and taxpayers of Dallas, the voters of Dallas, who has voiced their support for existing single-family homes, one lot, one home housing, not just the Department of Planning and Urban Design and their support of community housing. It's time to pause Forward Dallas, give time for revision that includes existing single-family housing, not just multiple housing.
Thank you, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Beg your pardon, sir?
Your name and address for the record.
I apologize. It's Bill Morrow, 8522 Stable Glen, District 10, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry, so what was your last name? We didn't catch it. Morrow? Morrow.
Morrow, like tomorrow without the two.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Good evening.
Hi, Cookie Peden, 7111 Debbie Drive, Dallas, Texas, District 12. One principle of economics is that price does the rationing. So if you have a surplus of something, take housing, the price would normally drop. We do not have a surplus of housing in Dallas, hence prices stay high. But what's really causing that? Loan interest rates are at an all-time high, with the Fed refusing to reduce interest rates until inflation comes under control. Gentrification throughout Dallas, and 44% of land and housing being purchased by investors is further driving the cost up. Since the pandemic, the skilled labor market has experienced significant shortages in construction workers. Dallas permitting system is also adding to it's exacerbating the problem. Developers lack financial incentives to construct affordable homes. Profits are in high-end development projects, not in building affordable housing. Without providing solutions for these types of challenges, Dallas will continue to have an affordable housing problem. Existing houses like starter homes, many of us purchased our starter homes, are here tonight. We started out with small cottages, and then we stepped up to larger and larger homes.
Thank you, Ms. Peden.
Comfortable.
Thank you for joining
What
us.
I'm concerned about is
Your time is up,
this
Ms. Peden.
document
Thank
cannot
you so
create
much.
affordable
Thank you for
housing.
coming. Good evening. Good evening.
My name is Kevin Roberts. I live at 7139 Mason Dells Drive in District 11. I'm opposed to the Forward Dallas 2.0 plan as is currently written because it has nothing to do with how the majority of Dallas homeowners and actual voters want to live. It is a first but certain step toward eroding the character of neighborhoods that are currently zoned as single family, and it is disingenuous for this commission to the highest degree to whisper disarmingly that Forward Dallas won't change zoning. While this may be technically correct, it is plain for all to see that the plan will create incredible political pressure and momentum that will be arrayed against anyone who dares oppose the challenges to single-family zoning that will occur on a property-by-property basis. Two major changes must be made to the plan to make it acceptable. Single-family detached must become its own place type, and the recommendation that a vacant lot in the middle of a single-family neighborhood can be used for missing middle housing must be removed. Thank you.
Next speaker, please. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Chair. Jose Rivas, 6145 Parkdale Drive, Dallas, Texas, District 7. The current Forward Dallas plan appears to overlook the negative impacts on our established neighborhoods in the name of affordability, which the staff and CPC admit in community meetings across the city that it will not remedy. We need a balanced approach that safeguards existing homeowners' interests while still supporting responsible growth and density around our community through an open and transparent process. I urge you to strongly consider our request for protection against this, for protection of our single-family neighborhoods where homeowners will have no input on the future of that neighborhood. Many of our neighborhoods are identified as community residential in the Forward Dallas plan, which supports allowing townhomes, duplexes, triplexes, and multiplexes. I understand there's changes underway.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
joining us. Good evening. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Mary Mesh. I live at 5837 Victor Street, where I've lived for 35 years. This plan just, it destroys the fabric of established single-family neighborhoods. And if you're allowed to bring in these multiplexes, and especially if you have the, if they're described as by right or ADUs by right, then all it's going to do to those neighborhoods is drive up the land value to where everyone that lives there then will not be able to stay in their own single-family homes, which is what I think the developers want, because then they can get our land and build whatever they want. please listen to the residents that are in these older established single-family neighborhoods. We like having our bigger lots and don't want something built that's going to go right up next to the next house. That's not why we moved there. And please listen to us and protect single-family neighborhoods.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Hi, my name is John Botifer, 10119 Estacado, District 2. I understand this land use idea. I was head of Garland Road Vision until about 2021. I understand the concept of a broad plan to help the city, a vision for the city. Garland Road Vision is working. We have 5 big residential, 5, I think, commercial properties converted to residential. It's doing great. But what Garland Road, or what Forward Dallas is doing that Garland Road Vision doesn't do is go into these neighborhoods, the yellow areas. And it's just not marinated enough with the current plan as it is. Take away the dot on the multifamily, on the community residential, and let's think about this. If in 10 years we've outgrown our burst at the seams in the corridors, then let's start looking at a little more detailed plan in that yellow area, maybe make a few more colors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Sean Thomas. I live at 6045 Kenwood Avenue, Dallas, Texas. And as a developer myself, and recently moving to Dallas, I've seen a lot of changes that I didn't see coming out of the area that I moved from in South Carolina. A couple of bullet points. Stormwater runoff, already a major issue, and Casa Linda established subdivision. Last time I was over there just visiting some friends, couldn't even, I needed galoshes just to walk out in the street over there. So any further development with higher density over there, I don't think is a good idea. I think also using existing buildings to turn those into more affordable housing is a possibility. I took a 6-story, 144-room hotel and converted that over to 50 condos in an infill project in a downtown area. So there are other opportunities without taking out single-family homes, just to put more
Thank you, sir.
modern townhome
Thank you for joining
boxes
us.
where people can't even
Thank
pull in
you,
the
sir.
garages
Thank you.
because the
Thank you
turning
for joining
radiuses
us.
are not
Thank
enough.
you for coming. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Hello there. There we go. There's a presentation, Adam. What's
Presentation. Dallas DN 4H.
Oops, he's going to set you up.
Let's see. From A. Lamont 12. That's another. This one? All right. Give me a second.
technology?
All
right, there you go.
Yes, sir. Good evening. The mic's on.
Thank you. My name is David Shannon. I live at 6157 Richmond Avenue. Here's what Sharon Grigsby said in a recent Dallas Morning News column. Misinformation, name-calling, and fear-mongering serve no purpose, yet that's the stuff drowning out the real conversation we need on this consequential decision. Folks, it's time for the current false narrative and misinformation to stop. Dallas deserves better. For Dallas to move forward, Forward Dallas doesn't need conflict. It needs constructive conversation and consensus. We'd like to extend a hand to those who disagree with us. Let's sit down together and talk calmly. I think there's a lot we do agree on. And those areas where we disagree, let's see if we can't find some compromise. As the attorney stated earlier, once Forward Dallas advances, that's when the hard work really begins. That's when conversations become granular, Boundaries are determined, details are negotiated, and decisions are made. And that's why starting today, we have to have conversation and compromise rather than conflict and dismissive comments. It's too important not to. We should acknowledge the past, respect the present, but plan for the future.
Thank you, sir.
Remember, city leaders have an obligation to build their cities and build it for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, my name is Nate Hemby, and I live at 336 Beckleywood Boulevard in District 4. And I'm here tonight with Dallas Neighbors for Housing to support the current version of Forward Dallas. Listening to the comments tonight, and from past meetings, it seems pretty clear to me that there's a generational divide. Our group here is here tonight to represent the 53% of Dallas residents 35 and younger, the kids, as we've been called. We're advocating tonight for a city that's livable and affordable for everyone, not just for the current homeowners. When it comes to housing, millennials and Gen Z want to see more variety of housing in the city. We love walkable neighborhoods that are enabled by the variety of housing types that are encouraged by this version of Forward Dallas. Over the next 10 years, we're the generation who's going to be most impacted by this plan. This land use plan is one that can ease many of Dallas's challenges caused by poor prior land use, and we see that acknowledged and remedied in this version of Forward Dallas. We should acknowledge the past, we should respect the present, but we should plan for the future. Forward Dallas is a plan for the future, and I support the current version of Forward Dallas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Heather Bayless. I live at 3800 Commerce Street, Dallas, Texas. Fact, in this time of staggering house prices, rising rent and inflation, home ownership and affordable rents is becoming unattainable for many Dallas residents. Another fact, Dallas is competing for people because as Texas's large keeps growing, we know our beautiful city of Dallas is right there alongside the rest of our state, which means that it's never been more important to have the city of Dallas to craft pro-growth housing policies to incorporate all forms of housing throughout all of Dallas, which, to note, does not have to be conflated with a desire for more apartment complexes. Not a fact, Forward Dallas will be the death of Dallas neighborhoods. We believe that additional housing in single-family neighborhoods will bring lots of benefits for these neighborhoods, more affordability and more flexibility. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Brenda Gurumurthy, and I live at 2140 Medical District Drive, apartment 1032, Dallas, Texas. I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. Right now, every neighborhood in Dallas is going through serious changes, and what's currently destroying many neighborhoods is unrestrained single-family house building. Oversized, out-of-scale McMansions are popping up left and right, and they exclude current neighborhoods and push them out of their neighborhoods. Right now, it's not being built, and what we need is greater housing options, a variety of choices that are diverse in types and size and are affordable and attainable. A century ago, middle housing's share of all housing produced was 25%. Today, it is less than 10%, and the biggest reason for the decline is that it's illegal in so many places. Many Dallas neighborhoods exist with a long history of multifamily homes, and that's what we used to consider normal. But today, those older structures can't be replaced or imitated. For Dallas to grow, our old normal needs to come back, and we need a significant increase in middle housing for sale and rent that's available across the entire city. If you're concerned that places like Lower Greenville, Uptown, or Bishop Arts are too expensive, it's because they're too rare. The demand for a variety of diverse, accessible, affordable, and walkable living areas outstrips supply. We should want more neighborhoods like this. As we move forward, the process will require complex conversations about density, affordability, historic redlining, and the effects of regionalism and highways on our city's growth. These conversations are critical for Dallas's growth and success. We should acknowledge the past, respect the present, and plan for the future, and that is why I support Forward Dallas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Matt Boss. I live at 4039 Cole Avenue, and I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. According to Truth in Accounting's 2022 report, Dallas's economic grade is a resounding D. Because Dallas's population is currently static, our economic health is not good. The debt burden for each Dallas resident stands at $12,700. Is anyone happy with their DCAD appraisals? I know my property taxes just rose 32%. The greatest challenge Dallas faces is not the perceived threat to single-family homes, but instead the dual threats of lack of tax space and rising land and housing costs. If the concern is rising property taxes, the best way to alleviate it is through increased quantity and variety of housing. For Dallas to grow and flourish, it needs to build more housing, more variety in housing, for purchase and for rent. The future of Dallas depends on becoming a desirable and coveted place to live and consume. Cities clearly benefit financially from housing and more middle-class residents. When more middle-income residents are renting or purchasing homes, cities can collect more property tax and sales tax from a broader cross-section of households.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Mark Ishmael. I live at 2401 Bennett Avenue, and I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing in support of the current version of Forward Dallas. None of the ideas we've discussed here are revolutionary. All have proved to be effective or are rooted in basic economics and common sense. It just comes down to collective will. Some facts: Minneapolis, Charlottesville, Portland, Austin, Oregon, California, Montana, and Maine have all adopted land use plans that are similar to Forward Dallas, and most did so years ago. That's not a left or right-wing idea. It's smart city planning and to allow more housing and housing options across the entire city. According to Pew Charitable Trust analysis, Minneapolis, which has seen land use reforms that go much farther than Forward Dallas, leads the progress. The results are undeniable. Housing production went up, housing costs stabilized, and homelessness dropped. Houston has also become more affordable than Dallas, in large part because its lower minimum lot size allows for more townhomes to be built, and those townhomes are more affordable than the single-family homes they would otherwise take up that land.
Thank you,
Portland,
sir. Time is up. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Andrew Warren. I live at 8629 Southwestern Boulevard, apartment 524, and I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. There's a common refrain that allowing this kind of housing will create no affordable housing, and we understand the sentiment regarding more housing density, but fortunately, the data shows the outcome of adding more middle housing is more affordable housing. Recently, a researcher found that since the year 2000, homes built on lots less than 4,500 square feet in Dallas cost $388,000 on average, while homes built on lots more than 4,500 square feet cost $573,000. The difference is the most pronounced in the most expensive neighborhoods in Dallas, where single-family homes today are going for well upwards of $1 million. Homes on smaller lots or multiple units on one lot does push down prices and lead to affordable housing that can never be achieved with our current large lot single-family zoning. Missing middle is the sweet spot of affordability Dallas needs. It allows for the cost of land, a major factor in home prices, to be divided while keeping the building cost per unit about the same. Build only one unit on a piece of land, and even a small, modest home will be expensive because of the high cost of land.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello, and just to pick up on that, I will note that rents per average on duplexes, sorry, my name's Al Lamont, 9432 Amberton Parkway. I'm here also with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. Dallas remains one of the most segregated cities in the country, in large part because of our land use. Our current land use pushes new apartments, which are more likely to be occupied by Black and Hispanic residents, to major highways and roads, where they face significant air qualities that hurt their health and quality of life. In order to have diverse neighborhoods, we need diverse kinds of housing. Brookings Institute found that neighborhoods that have more diversity in housing are indeed more diverse. The way that we do development right now pushes inequality and also pushes displacement, which we're trying to fix.
Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Bailey Williamson, and I live at 4024 Boca Bay Drive. I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. How about home ownership? One of the biggest knocks against any additional housing beyond single-family detached homes is the perception that they don't promote home ownership. Let's start with this fact from earlier. Of the 25 biggest U.S. cities, Dallas ranks 22nd in home ownership, with home ownership at 42%. That is below peer cities like Chicago and Philadelphia that are much more dense than Dallas. Building single-family detached homes does not in any way guarantee ownership. Take, for example, the new Westcliff Estates in Southwest Dallas. These are new single-family homes with rents starting at $2,700 per month. Dallas has no way of stopping this. It's against the law to regulate ownership versus rentals for development. If our goal is to promote more homeownership from a land use and policy perspective, we should be trying to ensure that we build enough housing so that prices are flat and aren't profitable for investors. When that happens, it makes more sense to convert rentals into homeownership. More housing means more opportunities for homeownership. We should acknowledge the past, respect the present, but plan for the future.
Thank you very much.
I support Forward Dallas.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Courtney Hunter. I live at 222 Browder Street, and I'm here with Dallas Neighbors for Housing. To tie this back to the beginning, this is the beginning of the process. Forward Dallas itself won't create the housing and neighborhoods needed in this city. Forward Dallas does not change any zoning. It does give us a vision of what kind of city we can be in the future. Our vision and hope for Dallas is that we can make this a city that is able to add new residents and improve the lives of its current residents. We see more housing and more housing within single-family neighborhoods as vital parts of this solution. We see additional housing as helping to solve many of the other issues: segregation, rising property taxes, insufficient city services, homelessness, etc., that are harming Dallas. Change is hard, but change is also happening all the time, whether or not zoning changes. We can't ignore the solutions that other cities like Dallas are pursuing. Trying to put single-family neighborhoods in shrink wrap will not work for our city as a whole.
Thank you so much.
Dallas is an
Thank you
amazing
for joining
city,
us.
and we're all on the same page.
Thank you. Next
Thanks.
speaker, please.
Would you like to take down your slide, please? Melanie Van Landingham, 6311 Lakeshore. The 2006 Forward Dallas, which is still in effect, stresses the need for density and affordability. It stresses the importance, value, and contribution of single-family neighborhoods and the need for infill of more single-family housing. But this new overhaul of Forward Dallas turns that 2006 plan on its head. This document fully ignores the need for affordability and approaches density as if all existing residents don't matter. This Forward Dallas plan destabilizes, gentrifies, and sacrifices existing neighborhoods to promote other housing types. Why doesn't it instead put multiplexes, townhomes, where they can create new, vibrant urban neighborhoods of higher density near downtown, along major corridors, repurpose commercial and warehouse properties around UNT and the 3,500 acres of undeveloped property in Dallas? Make this more balanced for everyone. It's simple. Remove townhomes, triplexes, ADUs by right, multifamily apartments, and mixed use from single-family neighborhoods.
Thank you for joining us.
Support
Thank you so much.
existing
Thank you for joining
neighbors
us. Thank
and
you very much.
neighborhoods. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Philip Terry, 11028 Glen Echo Court, Dallas, 75238, District 10. It's the price of the dirt. There's nobody in here that doesn't understand it's the price of the dirt. And if you just going back to that, we have no control over the price and the cost of homes. It's interest rates, it's the Fed, it's everything else. Younger people need a place to live. And in my 5.5 years researching about short-term rentals and the destruction of neighborhoods and researching the building of townhomes in Spokane, what they thought was going to lower the price, make people an entry level that they could get into, didn't work, okay? Same thing in Vancouver. The new urbanists basically have a lot of good ideas, and I'm very sympathetic, but it is not a big fix, okay? We need to work together to figure out how to get younger people into housing and create generational wealth rather than rents. And there's one part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
one
joining
part of
us.
the presentation.
Thank
can
you
I
so
ask?
much. Your time is up. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for coming out. Good evening.
Hi, Angela Kutak, 5052 San Saba Drive. I was at a meeting with Paula Bachman on Monday, and I just wanted to present these for Neil Sleeper. He left before the meeting was over, to let him know we did a survey of 3 simple questions. First one, are you supporting Forward Dallas in its form? And 92 people said no. 6 said yes. 5 were not sure. 106 said, are you in favor of protecting single-family housing? Yes. 6, no. Are you in favor of protecting minimal sizes lots? 96, yes. 5, no. We asked the PCC to take this response from our neighborhood into consideration concerning Forward Dallas in its current form. Thank you. I don't feel that we're being heard. That's why we thought it's necessary to bring these surveys that we did for you. Can I leave these for you? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Diane Birdwell, 5705 Meadowwick. I live in East Dallas, Far East Dallas, totally neglected. Buckner Terrace. Our motto is, we're not Pleasant Grove. And this is the thing, though. Buckner Terrace, Parkdale, Pleasant Grove, we're going to get victimized by this. This is not a way to bring in affordable housing. I was 42 before I could get a house. I rented until then. I was in the military. I rented overseas. This is a scheme by outsiders in Austin and others where they want to run up the cost of rental properties. It is not going to help us. We don't have enough police. We don't have enough water. We don't have enough streets fixed. We don't have enough of anything in this city, and you want to add 30 or 40,000 more people in neighborhoods that are already full. That's not going to work. We have thousands of acres of empty properties. Please go to John West at Buckner, tear down the old bingo hall that used to be a Safeway, build loft apartments above it, and put a restaurant and a couple of things underneath it. You can do that all over the city.
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
you can bring
Thank
the
you
rental
for joining
properties
us.
in. But we also
Thank you very
vote.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi there. I'm Carolyn Jones, and I'm 1234 San Rafael. And I don't have prepared remarks, but I wanted to just mention the traffic because that didn't seem to come up a whole lot. But the traffic where I live, where I used to take something that take me 15 minutes to get to, it takes 30 minutes now. And it used to take 30 minutes, it takes an hour. And they're getting ready to open up some apartments that were approved last year with 300 more residents. So they're going to have even more cars because there's no public transportation except for buses. And I don't know what y'all can do about that, but then they've also sold some property further up for apartments, and it's just really terrible traffic. And I think if we do this infilling, every neighborhood's going to have that many more people. And if there's no plans for good public transportation, I'm just concerned about that. So,
Thank you for joining us, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening.
I'm just putting Harlan.
Good evening.
Hi, Kim Finch, 808 Sylvania Drive, Dallas, Texas. Affordable housing sounds awesome. It sounds great. I would love that for everyone, and I think everybody in this room would as well. But at this point, I think affordable housing is a sparkly word like a unicorn. Is it a real thing at this point? Everything's going crazy. With that, infrastructure. Where's our infrastructure in this plan? I don't know if I missed that part, but for the people we have now, we don't have the infrastructure. Our roads are terrible. I can hit a pothole on my motorcycle and I could die. That's how bad our potholes are. So our roads, fix those before we get to that. We need other things put in place before we add all these things that are bringing in more people. Water, the flooding. Can we fix those things before we add something else that's going to cause more problems? Like fix the problems and then we can do those. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I worry about green space.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker. We'll go to online folks. Yes. Yeah, we do have some people that just walked in. If you'd like to come down and speak, we're ready for your comments. Not to put you under pressure. You can think about it a little while. Let's go to our online speakers and then we'll come back. You want to take a break? Yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 8:10. Stretch our leg.
No one said anything. Yes.
Commissioners, we're going to get back on the record, ladies and gentlemen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are recording. Yes. Commissioners, we're going to go with our speakers online. We'll begin with Mr. Curry. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
We can't quite hear you yet.
Can't you hear me now?
Mr. Curry, yeah, you might want to toggle your mic on and off.
Okay. Trouble learning.
We can't hear you, sir. He is muted, yes, but I think it's on his end. Mr. Curry, if you want to toggle that little icon, little microphone icon a couple of times. No, sir, we can't hear you. Why don't you keep trying, and we're going to come back to you. Don't log off. Mr. Thomas.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Fantastic. My name is Rob Thomas. I live at 1439 Sereno Drive. And this subject of single family is just not settling. And so this can't be about affordable housing. It can't be about solving an inventory problem. Not when we're living in a world where those asking for such will gladly drop $1,000 on an iPhone or $7 Starbucks. When you're trying to solve a problem and the problem doesn't solve, you're solving the wrong problem. You need to look at the cause, not the symptom. The cause of inaffordability has to do with a private corporation that answers to no one. The creature from Jekyll Island, the Federal Reserve. Houses don't increase independently in price. The value of the dollar goes down every time they go to print. Then all of the ants marching have to go get more dollars to pay for it. We came from a society that used to be able to serve income, and those days are a memory. Building a triplex or next to a single family home as a solution is ridiculous and unproven. Forward Dallas, it will destroy it. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Ms. Kendrick, are you online?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Kendrick. My address is 4741 Joppa Circle, Dallas, Texas, 75216. And I'm online today in support of Forward Dallas, the land use plan, as well as the environmental justice progress that it has made. First, I want to thank Planning and Urban Design staff for their hard work and consideration during this process. I'm someone that has seen this plan from the beginning. I understand how much work has gone into it. This has been a long time coming. The Forward Dallas Land Use Plan has been the first time in a long time that residents south of the Trinity have been invited to help create the futures of their communities. Through community engagement, staff has been able to craft a document that will help steer Dallas in the right direction. In the Joppa community, the original designation was industrial hub. This was far from what the community wanted. Because it was such an inviting process, we were able to hold workshops in Joppa where we could learn from staff and staff could learn from us what we wanted to see, and we would be able to understand how Forward Dallas will affect the future of our community. There is no stronger testimony than lived testimony. I'm someone that has lived and been affected by the overburden of pollution.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Champion? She spoke in person. I see Ms. Sorrentale. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
We can't hear you.
Okay, great.
Yes.
My name is Jennifer Angel, address 1441 Westmont Avenue, 224, Dallas, Texas, 75211, and I serve as the Executive Director of Ryle Planning, a local nonprofit here in Dallas. The history of housing in Dallas and of this country was always rooted in race. Local tools such as zoning, land use plans were historically used to promote segregation. And despite the Fair Housing Act being passed, people in Dallas continue to feel the effects of segregation, and Dallas has a duty to affirmatively further fair housing. And there's a spectrum of ideas on how to do that on this approach, but the underlying lens of it all is that the housing element in this plan has to center fair housing. It has to have a focus. Housing solutions should be diverse, context matters by neighborhood, and so each recommendation should also have cultural and historical sensitivity. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Curry, see if we can get your mic going now. Well, we might have heard something there. Can you speak a little louder, sir? Maybe closer to the mic.
Can you hear me now? I don't know what buttons to push.
Mr. Curry, I think someone here has is your phone next to you?
Yes.
Okay. Someone's going to call you, and then you can just speak into your phone, and we'll put you on the speaker here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, that worked. So, it's not ringing. Mr. Curry, you want to try your mic one more time, sir?
I don't know what button I'm pushing, but
That's it. We can hear you now.
oh, fantastic.
Perfect. You might just have to really speak up loudly, but we can hear you, sir. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Very little to say. I think that this process is very invigorating to me. I'm glad to see the conversation. I have confidence in the staff that's doing it. I think all the people tonight, there's a lot of fear being talked about. I'm not concerned about that. I am concerned about Dallas' future, and I think we're going in the right direction. Keep going. I'll follow it to the end. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. George, any other speakers that registered and would like to speak? No? Pardon me? None other speakers. Is there anyone else here that would like to be heard before we adjourn? Yes, sir. Please come on down. She's on the line, yeah. Good evening. There's a little microphone. Yeah. No, we can't. Yeah.
How about now?
There, perfect.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Hey there, my name is Kendall Scudder, 5635 Worth. Sorry we're late. We were putting together a Spanish language translated appraisal protest class in Mount Auburn because working families are being taxed out of their homes. And I believe that a vote in favor of Forward Dallas is a vote to fast track gentrification, to push people of color and working families out of their homes. To me, it's silly to say that density would equal affordability. This is not an affordability document, but anyone who believes that should have to explain to people in Manhattan how density equals affordability. I would also say that this environmental justice piece is crucial and long overdue. It is essential. And what you're running the risk of right now is letting one dot get in the way of crucial environmental protections and environmental justice piece. So just protect single-family neighborhoods, like everybody's showing up and telling you to do. If you protect single-family neighborhoods, I think we suddenly have a land use plan we can all start to get behind. And I really appreciate you guys for hearing us out today.
Thank you, thank you. Next speaker. Anyone else like to speak? Mr. Agut, I think you had a quick clarification about what's next.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen for a second. All right, just a clarification on what's coming up next and what we're asking from CPC. So next week, like we mentioned, we're going to have a more in detailed presentation and provide feedback for staff in terms of. Oh, can you hear me now? Yes? Okay, sorry. So just a clarification on the schedule, the review schedule for CPC. So next week, going to be another public hearing during our regularly scheduled CPC. We're going to be getting clarification from this body for staff to determine which way to go on the updating the plan document. After we get that clarification, staff's going to work on providing an update to the plan document before the next time we meet to be able to talk through those updates based on the feedback that we got next week. So we're going to get feedback from the body next week on which direction to go. After we get that feedback, our team's going to work on producing a document based on that feedback so we can have before our hearing on the 17th of June.
Thanks for the clarification. Critical point. Commissioners, again, a kind reminder, adjustments, recommendations, please get them into staff so we can have them all laid out and all think about them and get ready to on the 17th.
How long is it?
Sorry, I can't.
So next week?
Yes, for next week. Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Forsyth, please.
How long is the meeting scheduled for Thursday, May 16th?
So that is for the forward Dallas pieces to start at 6 p.m. So
Thursday, May 16th?
No, sorry, May.
Next Thursday, you have May 16th, 9 a.m.
Yeah,
regularly scheduled.
that's regular CPC.
Regular CPC.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
sorry.
the
That's
full
just going to be the hearing as part, okay, I see.
part. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah. So just in terms of the schedule, the Forward Dallas piece will probably be at the very end. Yeah. Commissioner Hampton.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, point of clarification, we're getting the final combined document on June the 17th, which is our public meeting date?
You get it before that date.
Say that one more time.
You get it before that date.
Okay. And again, I apologize, but I want to understand that I'm going to have some time to look at it, that the folks who are going to come and speak to us. So do we think it's the week before?
So it's likely going to be about 2 to 3 weeks before, so you have time to do
Yeah,
that.
we did talk about this before, Commissioner
Yeah, no,
Hampton.
we did,
I
and
think
that's
you
where
were
I just-
virtually, and yeah, nothing translates.
No, perfect.
Vice Chair Rubin.
I see at the bottom of the document, which is a little bit grainy, it says May 23rd, CPC updated revised draft document. Is that the target date for the newest
yes,
draft?
those are, yes, that's the target date that we're looking to provide that feedback for you.
Any other questions, Commissioners? Great, seeing none. It's 8:26 p.m. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming out and joining us this evening. Drive safely.